Independence, Missouri ranks top 5 in the world for the best tasting water. And so today, we're going to see if Truman High School, a staple point of this magnificent town, holds up to that standard. Okay, so we got these water fountains kind of in the math hallway. Visually, they're honestly not appealing. That one looks like a trash can, so I'm gonna go ahead and give them 2 stars. Functionality. This one does have good height, so I approve of that. I'm gonna go ahead and give it another 2 stars, just because that one has good height, but that one's on thin ice.
This is like decent. It's like kind of cold, but it's not giving much. I'd give it like a 2.
Alright, so visually, I'm a little displeased by the crustiness up here at the top and down here a little bit. It's just a little disheartening. Also, I can't see what the filter status is. How am I supposed to know if the water I am getting is clean and crisp? That's going to be a 2 star for its visual appear. But it makes up for it in height. Look at how high that is. I have never seen such great height and such great flow in a water fountain. 5 stars.
The water kind of shoots up at your base, but it makes up for being so tasty. I give this another 4.
Okay, here we have the weight room water fountain. As you can tell, most of the time it's very loud over here, which makes your water drinking experience not very peaceful. It's got decent height. It works pretty well. Again, no filter. I have no idea what's up with that. But it does save approximately 53,000 water bottles per year, which is really good because I like the environment. I like Earth, you know? It's super cool. Visually, nothing special going on, so 3 stars on that category, but functionality, I'm also gonna give it 3 stars because, you know, it does its job. We had like 3 people come out here before we started filming this, so yeah. It tastes better when you're tired, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it I'm in between 3 and 2 stars. We'll settle on 3, make it a nice 3 across the board.
These are the band room water fountains. Now, I've had a lot of experience with these because I am in band. So this one right here, this one's special. Let me tell you why. Because someone, he's a tuba player, he broke it his freshman year. It can come off the wall because it's missing a hinge right here. So that's the tall one. The little one is a little bit crusty right here. It's gross. There's no filter status, as we can see, and there's a lot of bottle save. That's good. Visually, both of these combined, I'd rate them a 2. Now let's get on the taste. I don't want to taste that because it seems like I'll get a lot of diseases from that. I'll taste this one though. It seems a lot nicer. Don't look at me drinking it. It's cold, but it tastes really minerally. I don't like that. I want to rate the taste 2.5. 2.5. Okay, so this is the art hallway one. I'm gonna first point out that there's no handle here. There's no like pushy thing here. It's broken, but it makes up like the posters are entertaining for when you're drinking your water. but it's
It's pretty low. What?
the taste makes up for it. From what I remember, it's very cold, it's very crisp. I'd give the taste a 4 out of 5, but I'd give everything else about it a 2 out of 5, but I love it, so it's okay.
Alright, so the first thing I noticed about this water fountain is that it's really short. Like, I am 5'1", and I'm able to lean on this. Like, that ain't right. I should be able to, I need to go down to my knees in order to drink from this water fountain. Plus, that's not a very good flow, alright? It's mediocre at best. I will say, I can't tell if it's dirty or if it's been freshly cleaned because I can see, you know, a bunch of like marks, a bunch of white marks. So visually, I'm gonna give it a 2, and functionality, I need to see that flow again. It's gonna get a 1 because it's not easily accessible and that flow's just mediocre at best.
I'm so aggressive. Oh my goodness.
This water fountain right here is my favorite because it's super, super cold and it tastes really good. Thanks.
Alright guys, look at this beauty. Look at this stainless steel, this nice off-white spout. Look at that. Look at that sensor. Look at that. And look at that number. That is a huge number. 91,316. You know how many that is? That's one more than 91,315. And look at this. Flow, kinda mid. I will say, kinda mid. But look at that flow. That is beautiful. Need I say more?
So is it a 5-star?
Some really good water. 10 out of 10. Would drink again.
So that flow, it's crisp, it's cool. That one, also crisp, also cool. Visually, they could clean up there a little bit, but it's not too bad, you know? What I do have a problem with is that last year I filled my water bottle up here once and my water tasted like iron, which is a no bueno. That is not healthy, that is not safe. It is not living up to the Independence, Missouri standards. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 3 for functionality for that terrible experience, and I'm gonna go ahead and give it let's do a 3 for the visual appeal, because I do like this poster board. As a matter of fact, I like low-key need to take a picture of it. Alright.
That's the most mid water I've ever had. It's like a 2. Not good. So this letter starts off with, "Dear me, how's it going?" And I know that this is around 2020 because it's mentioning COVID and wondering like there's gonna be a vaccine.
This is a paper that I was assigned to write in elementary school, centering around mental health. And I'm not really sure how the topic of mental health correlates with what you want your life to look like in the future, but perhaps something to do with idealism.
Did you write a letter to your future self when you were in elementary school or otherwise?
I did. I wrote one in elementary school and one in 7th grade.
I mentioned also writing. I've always had fun with writing. Do you still enjoy writing? I hope so, because writing is a big part of my life. Yes, younger me, I still do enjoy writing. I'm still writing that book that you're planning at this time, so doing that.
And I said that my major was in business administration, which I have a master's degree in. Still looking at perhaps getting a master's degree in something. Not looking to study business. Really, again, that was just one of those elementary school things. My dad studied business in school, and like Lynn mentioned, you're at that sort of stage where you're formulating your own independent opinions, but they're still shaped a lot by what your parents' opinions are. So I think that that's where I got the whole business thing from. I also guess I thought that studying business might, like, make me money. However, I don't know, it's just not really something I'm that passionate about. I only ever took one business class in high school. It was fun, but that's just not what I envisioned the path for me being.
I really wish my teachers knew that every now and then I burn out and can't handle everything as well. I wish I could do better. I don't want to disappoint people, but I'm only human. I at least realized that I was being kind of hard on myself because it really was stressful at that time because, like, you know, pandemic, that big jump from like only having like half of 8th grade year to immediate like freshman, and then just like a bunch of assignments. Like I was being really hard on myself.
The one in middle school was more or less just talking about music, what music I liked and kind of things I was interested in. But in elementary, I kind of remember at the time, I wanted to be like a businessman. You know, I think business is just really appealing when you're young because it's like, you know, wear nice suits, you know, drink a cup of Joe in the morning, get that bread, you know what I'm saying, get that moolah.
I say that I drive a Tesla and am saving up for a truck. I don't know where that came from. I've never really been a truck guy. Teslas are cool cars. I don't think now that I have the knowledge of the electric grid and like motor-based infrastructure in this country that necessarily having a Tesla at this point is a good thing. Maybe when charging stations become more widespread, maybe if we upgrade the grid so where if everybody has an electric car, there's less of a strain on the grid, but I'm just not so sure about that. And a truck, what was I thinking? Do you see me? You see me? Do I look like I drive a truck?
I say all the time I want to live in Bhutan, but I can't because they don't allow dual nationalities, but you know, it is what it is.
Well, you're not going to renounce your U.S. citizenship?
I mean, I might, like if it really gets to that point, you know, I might get my education, you know, get a little bit of bread and just give up my citizenship and move to Bhutan, start a new life. I don't think my 4th grade self ever envisions that. I don't even think I knew what Bhutan was back then.
Dear future me, be better than what you are now. Don't throw tables at teachers like you used to. Don't do that. Be good.
Is that something you really used to do?
It's something I really used to do is pick up tables.
My family seems to think they understand me pretty well, when quite frankly, I'm not even sure if I understand myself all that well. Life is honestly too short to have a reputation, because, you know, we were talking about reputations or something, that was like part of the assignment. And I honestly didn't know why when I was younger I really didn't like myself all that much, and it's because of that one psychological stage of child development when, like, the child doesn't really understand themselves in that kind of, like, limbo state of, I don't really believe what my parents believe anymore, I'm leaning towards more of what I want to believe, but I still don't know what I believe. That kind of, like, not knowing where you are stage in your, like, childhood. I was still kind of in that, and it just was, everything was really confusing. I didn't really know what I liked too much.
Finally, I say, everybody knows that there's enough negativity in the world, so if I can please everyone and bring positivity into the world for even a short time, I'm satisfied, which I think is generally a great platitude. However, I always have struggled a little bit with the truth that you can't please everybody. And as much as you try to, you're never going to be able to. And struggling with resolving that truth within myself and what that means in the context of my behavior and my actions. However, even though I acknowledge that it's impossible to please everybody, if I can at least bring some positivity in the world to whoever will listen, whoever will pay attention, that is still consistent, I will be satisfied.
Do you think you're on pace, the general thesis of your letter? Perhaps the details have changed, perhaps
Yeah.
living in a different place, having a different occupation, but that whole get a job, get a fortune, move. Are you still thinking you're on that path? Has that changed for you?
Well, as of right now, not really.
Do you feel that you have grown? Do you think your predictions were accurate?
I think so.
And if you're like really trying to abide by what you wrote in your letter to your future self, you need to give yourself the opportunity to change and to grow. And it's fun to look back and be nostalgic on like how I used to write, the little idiosyncrasies which I think are still present in my writing, my little childhood dreams of owning a truck and living in Colorado. But that's really for me all I think is good for it. My current stage in life is nostalgia.
I was a very anxious, insecure person at the time, and over the years, after finding people who supported me, after finding who I was myself, I feel like I've definitely grown from the person I was in freshman year.
Do you think that doing a letter to your future self when you're young kind of helps you like develop your character, develop your personality a bit, talking about what you want to do in the future, where you envision yourself being?
Well, I think yes and no. I think, number one, obviously attitudes change over time, and your environment, say you might be moving to new environments, experiencing new things culturally, traveling, new friends, new interests and hobbies popping up, that will all over the years shape your view about your future and your outlook on life.
I mean, I don't necessarily think that it's like necessary for developing social skills, but I think for one, it's fun.
I think so, for sure. I mean, it feels refreshing. It feels kind of like you're having a conversation with someone who's not like really there anymore.
It's a great thing to be able to look back on who you were at a point in time or what you expected of yourself and just feel like, just reminisce, I guess.
Hello, and welcome to a very special episode of Truman Chronicles. This time we're going to be taking a look at the controversial issue of AI. Undoubtedly, there's been a significant rise lately in headlines pertaining to AI. Whether it be positive or negative, the team will be sharing their thoughts, beginning with Lauren.
I don't like AI at all. I hate it. Completely against it. Boo.
Why?
So, as someone who's part of the art community and the writing community, it's making a monumental impact on both of those communities. It is completely legal to write a book using completely AI, just AI, and then it's like kind of destroying the art community in the fact that people are using AI to make art, and because AI isn't like completely original, it's taking in like art that's already posted on like Instagram, Twitter, like all that. And it's taking it in, and it's just like kind of making what's already existing, and it's kind of almost stealing people's art. Like there's some like almost exact replicas of people's art that's already out there, and anyone could just use it as their own. They could just be like, oh yeah, this is mine, because AI isn't like a real person, so there's no like copyright laws. And it's just like, it's not good. Also like, actually I was thinking of NFTs there for a second, but like AI is just basically like, it's just a problem, and it's only going to get like worse as we go on, as it develops.
Yeah. To piggyback on what Lynn said, like us as journalists, like Photoshop for the photographers, that's not a thing. Like you can literally like highlight a spot and tell AI what you want it to do, and it'll create work just as a human would, but 10 times faster, which also makes it easier for people to hire AI because they don't actually have to hire it. They just like use it, and they don't actually have to pay most of the time.
It's like faster, it's cheaper. Like, what's the point of even hiring artists or writers or anything when you can just use AI?
I mean, I swear to goodness, how many movies have there been that are warning us that artificial intelligence will take over the world? Wake up, sheeple.
Alright, Val, what do you think?
I mean, I think that AI, what you guys said, is very valid, and there are some parts of AI that I am firmly against. Using AI in any form of published art, like I think if you like generate a picture of like Goku if he was gay or something and post it on Twitter, that's one thing. But if you're writing like a whole movie script with AI, or like writing a book, or like posting art and claiming it's yours, or a quote unquote AI artist who like claim it to be a talent, that's a bit much. But with that being said, I do think that AI is used in a lot of things. Like an example that I think a lot of people don't think about is think of like Minecraft. Like when Minecraft like procedurally generates like a new world, that's using AI. So like, and AI does have its uses that are like necessary for not more than games too, like essential things in life. Like coders use AI a lot, but I think that using AI for human things is what's wrong. Like using AI for things that we cannot do without it is good. Using AI for creativity-based things, you know, like I said, human things is firmly wrong. I think.
I'll say that I feel like AI should never be used to take away a job that a human could easily do, even if it's just the smallest thing, like, I don't know, drawing a picture, because those are, having an AI make that, it's not a real image, and it has no real meaning if you add it to anything.
Jobs are already hard to find as is. Like Gen Z is having the most difficult time being employed than, as to my knowledge, any other generation. And with AI on the rise, man, how long until like the only essential jobs? Well, like I was thinking of like I want to be an EMT firefighter, but like who knows if AI can get that advanced, but probably take a bit, but still.
I think the concerns are warranted and understandable to be sure. However, I think of AI as it relates to the job market a lot of the same ways in which I think about the way internet relates to the job market, and that is when the internet first became widespread. There were concerns that it would take over a significant amount of jobs. And sure it did. However, the internet also created many new jobs after that, and I think AI will do much of the same. Sure, copywriters, other paper-pushing type of jobs, administrative positions might be on the chopping block. However, there will be new positions created, like AI data scientists, and those who could train AI on models of language, models of art, etc. And then that would tie into your point about AI being trained off of existing art that is not copyrighted, that is copyrighted, but it's not the copyright that's held by the people that own, like OpenAI, Google, Twitter, etc. Like copyright is held by other people. So that is an argument to be sure. I also think that nationalized AI in the hands of the working class can be used as a public good. Several reasons. You know, number one, it could help farmers with forecasting crops. It could help in the healthcare field, especially. There's a lot of research out there. I'm not so much invested into it, but I've read a little bit about how AI is used to pinpoint certain diseases, make diagnoses more efficient, etc. And the biggest one to me is economic planning. In the early 1970s, Chile actually had a project called Project Cybersyn, in which they used very primitive computers to help plan their economy. The project was abandoned eventually. However, it does get me thinking, especially as AI evolves, how that could be used for economic planning in the future and what sorts of roles AI might play in planning out public policy.
All right. I would like to add some of my 2 cents into that. I think, like kind of how I said earlier, there are some things that AI, maybe not a necessity for it, but where it is definitely an improvement over what humans can do. You know, we have our limitations mentally and physically, but I think that when you allow AI into the job market, because sure it might start off good, because with things like economic benefits and medical benefits, but if you allow it too much into what humans already do, eventually you're going to have it taking over working class jobs. And you kind of already see that. Like if you go through McDonald's a lot of times now, they have a AI voice instead of a human taking your order. And it's somewhat inoffensive, but that's still a job that people do, taking your order and getting your order.
They also tend to do it better.
Yeah, much better. Like, I've had so many problems with that stupid thing. I want to shoot it.
Half the time, I swear, one of the McDonald's employees like, "I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah,
I'll take your
literally.
order now."
Yeah.
To hop into that, like, not only is like AI taking over more creative jobs like writing and art, but when they take over jobs like that, it also eliminates human interaction. Like, to bring in iPad kids with this, we're slowly stepping more and more away from like interacting with each other. Social media and whatnot's already doing that, but with like iPad kids who don't even know how to properly socialize, how to even properly like read, and having like a robot take our orders, it's taking away like the human interaction. Like the place I work at, we're trying to push this QR code system, so instead of talking to your waitress, you like literally just scan it and then order your food through that. Like what's the point? You go to a restaurant to like talk to like a waitress and like have that human interaction, but it's becoming more like obsolete.
Right. But I do think, on balance, you have to evaluate the very valid arguments that you do propose with the genuine good that AI also can do for society, I feel. Right now, we do have two types of AI. We have narrow AI and general AI. And general AI is not something that exists yet. That is in the current stages of development. There is much scholarly debate on whether it will be achieved ever, to be honest with you. And now general AI is talking about AI that can think and feel for itself, that has its own form of digital consciousness, right? We don't have that right now. We have narrow AI, and I do think that there are plenty of great uses for narrow AI, such as information synthesis, filtering through massive numbers of documents to find what is important out of said documents, and that specifically can be applied to so many different things. Like I mentioned earlier, healthcare. That's potential for AI in healthcare is huge. At the same time, however, I will concede that you do have to evaluate the things that we talk about, like a loss of human connection, a loss of certain jobs, and you do have to ask yourself, like, on balance, do the benefits outweigh the harms? And I'm not sure I have a good answer to that question.
I do.
Go ahead, Kaisen.
I will say, I'm fully for AI. I feel like it's a great device that can be used in many amazing ways, but specifically in the job sense, it should 100% be plan B if you cannot hire someone or have the right person. Going back to like the McDonald's thing, where if you go through the drive-thru, it's an AI now. They still do have the person there, like in the place with the headset on, that would be ready to talk to you. So I feel like that AI there is completely useless because they have someone ready to do it.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, never mind. When you said like it scans through a ton of information, while that can be useful, I feel like I just don't know how much I fully trust AI to find what I'm looking for. Like it's like if you're assigned to read a book and you watch the movie adaptation, you might miss some key points that the AI didn't think was useful. You might just like skim over stuff, and I just don't know. I just really don't think you can trust it.
Right, sure. Like, look, narrow AI, even in its current form, is infallible. No matter how good of a picture it can create, no matter how good of an essay it can create, at the end of the day, it is synthesizing information from other places, like you talked about, other previously created artistic works, literary works, etc. So, a while back, I went on ChatGPT and I asked it to spit out a biography of a guy I totally made up. Just a fake philosopher, totally invented in my head, and they write this whole scholarly article as if this guy was real, right? And now, look, there also is, based off of that, the potential for increasing of disinformation and that dissemination of false information, propaganda even, into our information ecosystem, which I do feel is dangerous and does warrant some concern. Disinformation is already a huge problem on social media, and having AI with the potential to deepfake images, video, create false information, yeah, that's a big thing. We saw a while back there was the AI Taylor Swift nudes controversy, which might have been like a little bit silly, just due to the parties involved, but at the end of the day, the fundamental thesis behind it is a valid concern.
Yeah, I mean, that is also another thing, like, using AI for things that are illegal illegal.
Yeah.
Like that is becoming like a more common thing. Like you see people on Twitter making fake AI. I'm not gonna get graphic, but like videos of people that it could be classified as like sexual assault. Because you're putting that out
harassment
there.
to be sure.
Yeah, and that's, I don't know. I feel like when it comes to AI, you kind of have to weigh your pros and your cons. Yeah, what were you gonna say?
I'm definitely gonna put in my 2 cents with that. So recently there was a 14-year-old girl who took her own life due to harassment and AI because these 2 boys in her class were using AI to make fake nudes of her, and they just kept using this like platform, you know, for something it should not really be used for, as most people are gonna do. They're just gonna abuse something like that, but it ended up in her taking her own life because it was just too much. And it's just like, where is the limit here? Where there should be like limits to these kinds of things at least, but there isn't. Like maybe like put in there's like I don't know like censoring like probably not like 14-year-old girls nudes, you know, like that should not be a
Right,
thing that you should be able to put in. That's awful.
And two things I have to say to that. Number one is that several platforms, namely OpenAI, since that's just what I'm most familiar with, and I know there's the new Google Gemini that they have, they do prohibit certain like terms, right? But people find a way to bypass that.
Yeah, of course.
And, you know, going back to the Taylor Swift nudes controversy, the White House did make a statement. They did call for legislation to be passed, which obviously private firms such as OpenAI opposed because they opined that increased regulation would hinder development and potential breakthroughs in the field. And I have a few arguments to that, but to keep it brief, I'll say that I don't think increasing legislation and regulation would necessarily be such a terrible thing.
I concur.
Yeah.
I also concur.
My biggest concern with that is like the enforcement
Right,
of it.
and it might be
because,
nearly
like,
impossible.
because AI can be in the hands of anyone right now. Like literally on Snapchat, I got the little like AI person, you know.
Yeah, it's every like on Instagram you can make those like AI generated GIFs, which is just
Yeah, they have AI generated
stickers.
stickers too. Yeah, I mean,
It's just, like,
look, hey,
weird.
it's fun for me to generate like Black Peter Griffin and send it to my friends, but it's definitely becoming integrated in nearly all online media to a certain extent. It's on social media, it's on practically every search engine. Bing has an AI, Google has an AI. And we're talking about like specific dedicated AI because of course there always was to some degree AI involved. But I don't know. It's just interesting to see how, well, before about a year ago, you saw Reels being integrated into just about every social media platform.
Yeah.
And that sort of model, because it blew up with TikTok being integrated to other
Anything that makes
platforms.
money.
Anything that makes money. Look, ChatGPT blew up, and now suddenly everybody's making an AI chatbot, right? Dolly blew up, now everybody's got an AI image generator. So,
I just want to throw out there that, like, in terms of what you were saying earlier about limiting art, like, you can, generating the GIFs and stuff, like, you generated, like, Black Peter Griffin.
Yeah.
But, like, that already kind of exists, like, Cleveland.
brother.
So you're kind of, like, taking away, like, the human part of it now. But like, for real, though. I don't know, I mean, it's just AI, I feel like, I've said this before with a lot of technologies, but at what point does it start developing faster than we can handle? And at what point do we kind of lose the reins on it? Because, like, generating misinformation is, like, it's a very big problem. Like, I saw a picture on Twitter of, like, a fire burning down a huge building in France, and I thought it was real, and I'm not even, like, and I think for elderly people, if I thought it was real, I had to like triple check it because unless you look at the tiny details, it looks real until you zoom in and see someone with like 3 fingers.
Yeah, right, exactly, yeah.
If you're like a 70-year-old grandma and you see this, they're not going to think to look at that because they don't know better. And then you can also use it for, I don't know, just a lot of bad things. And if it gets into the wrong hands, which it probably will because everyone can use it, it is so ridiculously highly accessible now. As long as you have internet, you can use AI.
Like that one grandma who believed her son's playing GTA was like real.
Yeah. So we're just about out of time. Let's get final thoughts across the table real quick.
I still am not in support of AI. I do think that used for like games and whatnot, it's fine. But when it comes to jobs and like socializing and whatnot, and just art, or like the art and like writer community, that's like something I hold very dear to me, and I know that a lot of other artists do too. Don't like it, but I mean it's useful in some sort of ways, I guess.
I think AI just needed to stay where it was like a year or two ago. You know, only a few people had access to it. It wasn't a public thing that anyone could use for their own personal gain.
I think that as far as AI goes, while it is like very interesting and it can be fun and it does have very like real and beneficial uses, we have to kind of watch closely and look at how it develops. And I guess just we got to be careful. And I say we, like the 5 of us in the room. I mean like people developing it or people who actively use it often. You just gotta like watch what you're doing, because if it goes too far, which it kind of already has, like can be a very serious thing.
I'll say that, in my honest opinion, I believe the pros outweigh the cons when coming to AI. There are some very bad things that can happen with it, but if you think about it as a whole, I feel like there's been much better advancements than there has been bad things that have happened because of it.
I concur with Isley. I would have to state that I believe that the pros do outweigh the cons, and I think specifically if AI is in the hands of the people and not private for-profit corporations, that'd be pretty freaking cool. I'll be off to Buffalo and Toronto, so we'll be on hiatus for a week. Keep an eye out for Val's new fun fact of the day.
Oh God.
And we'll see you next time.
Fun fact of the day. Did you know that the 2 smallest countries in the whole world are right next to each other? One of them being the Vatican City, which is less population than Truman High School. The small microstate of Vatican City resides within, Rome. Its other, smaller, slightly larger neighbor goes by the name of San Marino. And today, I'll be talking about that one. More specifically, I'm going to be talking about San Marino national team. But to understand the San Marino national team, first, you need a little bit of background information on San Marinara. You know, San Domingo is actually the oldest sovereign country in the entire world. It dates all the way back through 301 AD. That's when Jesus was still slanging. You know, despite being the oldest recognized country, it's only really about the size of a city. And it only has a population of about 34,000 people. So, you know, it's smaller than Branson, Missouri. It's 14 times smaller than Kansas City, Missouri. And it only has the population of Liberty in Missouri. But despite having such small and minimal resources, San Marino has its own national football team. But, you know, I know someone who knows more about this subject than me. Dennis, would you like to explain? Wait, I think Dennis is arriving.